Okay.
Open session public meetings are subject to being videotaped. Your image and voice may be recorded. Okay, we're going to open up with meeting minutes. We have for approval November 12th and November 14th. That was Saturday, November 12th. Mrs. Keefe took the notes.
Yep.
And also open session at the special town meeting. And all three of us were at both of those meetings.
Move to approve?
Second?
Any comments, questions?
No?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
We have motor vehicle refund warrant for the amount of $61.56. Do I hear a motion to approve
Move to approve?
That's just for
Second.
fiscal year 14.
for fiscal year 14? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I have a motor vehicle FY15 refund for the amount of $266.98.
Move to approve?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I have a motor vehicle refund for fiscal year 16 for the amount of $862.72.
Move to approve?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Did I forget you on that one? Oh, no. We have a request from
Me.
Mary to approve her sick time and vacation day rolling over 10 days into the long-term sick bank and one of the 2 weeks earned this year into vacation time.
Move to approve?
Second?
Discussion?
I didn't know we had a sick bank. You have a sick bank?
Only for long-term disability.
Okay.
Yeah, not otherwise.
Not like you're thinking.
Not like the teachers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I just would tell you, I encourage you to take, vacation
Oh.
in the years that.
I thought you were gonna say sick time since I came in here last week sick. Yeah, vacation, I'm gonna do it probably this winter, actually.
Okay. Yeah, rather than just keep racking it up.
I lost a week of it. I didn't technically use any of it, I just pushed my schedule around it.
Huh?
So we did.
But I will,
Oh,
but I will.
all in favor?
Aye.
We
I say
have,
that to people who report to me at work too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I will.
the Selectmen's office is going to be closed on Tuesday, November 29th, Wednesday, November 30th, and Thursday, December 1st, so that Mary can go to a public contracting overview seminar in her position as procurement officer.
I look forward to seeing the materials and so on.
I propose that we cancel the December
26th?
26th, which is a Monday after,
Well, that would be a holiday anyway.
okay? So we cancel a meeting for that week between Christmas and New Year's?
Yeah, we typically do that.
Yep. And that we reschedule the January meeting to the 2nd.
Yeah, which we would do anyway because, to the 3rd, isn't it?
Third.
And it is
Yeah.
actually already on the calendar for the 3rd.
Yeah.
But the canceling of the 27th wasn't on the calendar.
Okay.
So are we meeting the 27th of December
No,
instead?
we're going to not have a
Just
meeting that
No
week.
meeting that week, okay.
We're going to live large.
All right.
Okay, all in favor of canceling the 27th?
Aye.
Aye. We have A request for permission for Christmas Time in Berlin Group to use the bulk mailing permit number 3.
Move to approve?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Municipal electrical aggregation. So on Thursday, I participated in a 7-town conference call. We went out to bid for prices, and I chose the 6-month term through Verdi, VERDA. The price for residential would be .09135, and right now, basic service with National Grid is .09787. So there's a small savings there. It's also lower in the commercial, the industrial rates, but I think.
Great.
And so in December, they're going to start mailing out the opt-out materials. So this is an opt-out program. If you don't opt out, you'll be in, and it would start at the middle of January, because I believe that's the billing cycle for Berlin.
Great.
And we have some license renewals. Mo to approve restaurant. Mo, M-O?
Motion.
Motion.
Ah. Do I have a motion to approve restaurant all alcohol 2017 licenses for TGI Friday, 110 Grill, and the Berlin Country Club? Mary's gonna hold release until receipt of inspection certificates.
I'm gonna say yo, because it rhymes with Mo.
Ah.
Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is that Moolah place gonna be in Berlin?
I thought Dennis said it was, but.
It looks like it is, because it looks like it's next to 110, up in that 110 Grill area.
What is it?
Moolah? I don't know.
Burgers or
It sounds
something?
like burgers.
Moo.
Gotcha. All right.
Is it a Southwest burger joint?
No, it's
Uh-huh.
gonna be a buffalo, there's a buffalo wings or something going in there?
Buffalo.
Something?
That's what I thought I heard somebody say. I see the signs for the Mouye though.
They're busy building. There you go. Like- I went up there at 2 o'clock today, and there was absolutely no parking by Market Basket.
I know.
Yeah,
So-
I've been there a number of times when you really gotta hike.
That one was just for me.
Okay.
But here, you can sign some more of these.
All right.
Oh, right, there's common vic licenses for all three too.
Did we? All right, so we're signing the Berlin Country Club, but you're gonna wait until,
All of them passed, all restaurants passed their inspections last week, just technically I don't have the signed copies yet.
okay.
That last one's just you?
Yeah,
Okay.
Did you do your motion didn't include the common vic licenses?
and the common vic licenses.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we're gonna go to appointments.
All right.
Okay, so one more correction. I didn't read the agenda as you guys were doing this. There's also entertainment and Sunday entertainment for TGI Fridays and entertainment and Sunday entertainment for 110 Grill.
Okay.
Okay, well, we've already signed those. Just to collect it all, I move to approve all licenses listed on the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Kelly.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a 7:15 appointment with Timothy Wheeler, talking about the Complete Streets draft policy. Please come forward, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
There's one for me, there's one for you, there's one for Chris, and there's one for Ken.
Oh, good.
So we put this out to, you got
Comment.
any more comments from
No,
anybody?
Just the school superintendent commented. The fire chief had some questions.
Yep,
The police chief was involved with you in drafting it.
yep, and Keith.
Highway did not, oh, okay,
And
so
Keith
that's
was
why
too?
Keith didn't answer, so.
Yeah,
I'll
Keith
do
was
that.
involved from the start.
Okay, that was everybody.
So did you answer the questions to the fire chief?
I didn't answer them. I will answer his email. It doesn't impact anything that we've said in here, because it had to do with numbering of streets and naming, stuff like that, which
Yeah.
is outside the purview of this document. And in regard to the superintendent's comments, I think the mention of school bus riders under core commitment and is school routes, corridors is a prime objective. Objective is mentioned later, and then the fact that we've said that we would include other important parties throughout the town, to my mind, includes the school superintendent. So it's, I think rather than expanding that list, I think it's the selectmen, the highway superintendent, and other decision makers, I think covers that adequately enough.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay,
I don't have any questions, or?
okay. So do you just want us to approve this?
So if you approve it, then, because I was the one who took Complete Streets 101, I guess I'm the one who submits it according to Dan Daneska from Central Mass. So I submit it to the state, and I have to attend Complete Streets 201, which is in Worcester sometime in December, a one-day session. And then that makes us eligible for the
Grant one?
initial chunk to do an analysis and prepare a proposal, and then when we go to implement that, we can apply for further funding. I think there's 50,000 available for planning. Central Mass said that they had done 5 or 6 towns so far, and generally it's costing 15 to 20 to do the work for those towns. So it would still mean we'd have some additional funding that we might use for
So
expansion of the
planning
study.
part is going to be in the center of town?
Well, I mean, the idea is that you look at your street network in general. Whenever you can argue a street wouldn't be in demand enough for pedestrian and bicycle use in particular, I think, which would be a lot of the town, you just exclude those from the battle plan and proceed with something that's probably more in the nucleus of the center of town. So I think, from Carterville to St. Joseph's to, into the center, to the school, to the town offices, that sort of thing. The aqueduct is now considered an accessible pedestrian and bicycle route, which means that perhaps we should look at London to the aqueduct as part of a package where you'd, I mean, a lot of times it doesn't mean you widen the street or add sidewalks or anything like that. It's just that you mark it so vehicle people are aware of the fact that there might be pedestrians and bicyclists on the road, so.
And in fact, I mean, we've done that in the center of town when we put in the driveway, rather the sidewalk in front of the church. We particularly sort of swung it out around the corner to
Those were the
move
bus
cars
and
to the
Centennial.
center of the road, and then
Yeah.
lined it because we had the competing uses of parking and those others, so it didn't, we couldn't really extend the sidewalk.
Well, and we looked at doing more than that, but the cost was out. But we were gonna do the sidewalk where I guess it used to go in front of the children's church, and then cross over so people could reach that conservation
Yeah.
area on the corner.
And I think
But-
that with the money that might be available through the second phase of this, you might very well be able to argue that you could complete some of those. But I think you need to look at, the police chief in Highway talked about the 5 corners and, how to make that safer and what to do about in front of the post office with South and Pleasant, because Riverbridge is due to mitigate that. But it'd be nice to have new eyes look at that and come up with a configuration that works for everybody before they have to invest their money. And then the whole question of how you get access, safe access to Northbrook Village 1 and 2, and, maybe that's through the Booth property and into the school system, and then in some way, work through that, which would give those folks a chance to get to the center of town and town offices and library and stuff like that in a safer fashion, so. There's, and it's all, I don't think the cost needs to be outlandish, and I think a substantial amount of money can come from the grant.
And I attended the Rail Trail Advisory Committee a week or so ago, and talked to them about the fact that they, need to keep an open mind in terms of what bicycle access across the center of town would be. That it, just because they did a railway there in the 19th century doesn't mean it can't be a combination of that and some complete streets applications of public ways. So,
Well, the police chief and the highway superintendent, we talked about the difficulty of trying to make 62 bicycle and pedestrian friendly from the center to the east.
just make it one way.
So I mean, but you may look at Walnut,
Right.
as a corridor that gets you over to the eastern part of the rail trail that you might extend from Sawyer Hill into Hudson, and that gives us a corridor, particularly when we talk about the cultural economy that, as part of the master plan. Naughton has proposed a cultural corridor from Hudson to Clinton through Berlin on 62. That bill is pending. He's not sure whether it's going to be acted on. If it's not, he'll refile. But, when you look at endeavors to try to make the town hall more viable for more activity, and 19 Carter coming to fruition, and, that there's no reason not to assume that we could attract, more folks from out of the region, and making it pedestrian and bicycle friendly would help that.
Would it, I don't remember if it's a half a mile from the school that we're really not required to bus those kids, but because of safety issues right now, we do. But I think that if that included a half a mile radius from the school, I mean, that would be really helpful.
beneficial. Well, and it, we looked at, Keys Road connects to the South Common, but we don't connect it.
Yeah.
And there again, there's an opportunity, if you think about a small amount of sidewalk that might very well instead go from Northbrook Village to Keys Road, and then, there's a lot of combinations. And like you said, you get to that open space that's there on the corner of Pleasant and 62, which then connects you to a significant network of trails that would be available for folks. So it,
Yeah, and
it
I
all
think, in the long
package
run, we
works.
probably need to look at the intersection of Pleasant and Central Street anyway. Right now, it's pavement and,
Yeah.
Crazy.
half a football field wide, and,
At 4 o'clock, it's got a line of cars waiting to turn, too.
Sure, right.
yeah.
Yeah.
With the numbers, you got the count, I guess, that we
Yeah.
just got that. I haven't looked at them closely, but I wanted to do a comparison with previous years, because we've looked at that intersection quite a bit in the past, so those new numbers, and we could get Central Mass to do some more counts in other places. I think doing the 5 corners from all directions, a real thorough analysis might be something that we should pursue, and as well as, look at all the legs of the rotary and what it means in terms of South and Pleasant.
Well, and once River Bridge gets built out, those counts are only going to increase in that area at least.
I would assume. And then we've talked in the past about Carter one-way from 62 to the library, and Woodard Avenue one-way from the library to 62, and that allows you to think about better parking in the center and bicycle and pedestrian access through that whole corridor. So, and I think the police chief is comfortable talking about that and evaluating that. So, there's some good opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, do I hear a motion to approve the complete streets policy?
So moved.
Second?
Any other discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, and I'll report back when I attend 201 complete streets. Can I ask are you talking about the conservation language with Solomon Pond?
No.
What is that item on the agenda?
Well, that's a letter that they want to be invoiced now for their
On a
mitigation.
quarterly
payment.
basis.
Oh, okay.
Well,
That's
no, now they're back to a yearly.
Oh, yearly now?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But they wanted a
Letter agreement.
a
signed
letter agreement, which,
would obligate us to generate that invoice before they pay.
that's all that was.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right.
You too.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Hey, Peter Hoffman, you here for the remote participation?
Please.
Do you want to take that one out of order?
Which one is it?
It's right at the very end.
17?
Yeah. Might as well.
Let's see.
Very, very, very back.
Hello, hello.
Yep, this.
Do you want,
I think there's copies in here.
I've got the code, you want to see?
The Mass General Law, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, Eloise emailed, I think they copied it.
Yeah.
It's a relevant part.
Thank you.
Judy, Chris. Is this for you? It says May?
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay. So we had this discussion once before, and someone vetoed it.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that discussion.
I'm guessing they're memorable.
No, it was brief.
One thing I did when I read the Mass General Law that Eloise included in the email,
Right.
I thought you could not vote remotely, but apparently you can. When we had talked about it at the school, for some reason, I thought that you couldn't vote, but you can.
You have to otherwise have a quorum physically present, though.
Right, you have to have a quorum, the chairman must be present, or a temporary chairman must be appointed. And of course, the key body, you, will have to permit it.
Okay, so the gist of this would allow a town body to have someone who could vote remotely via phone or, I'm trying to look at all the pieces.
Video conference.
Video conference.
And participate, not just vote.
You need to have a quorum of the body. The person authorized to chair the meeting shall physically be present at the meeting location, and the people who participate remotely may vote and shall not be deemed absent. And possible reasons are personal illness, disability, emergency, military service, geographic distance. So you can use the telephone, the internet, or satellite, or any other technology. So you could Skype.
It's not meant to be a routinely used thing. It's meant for special,
For those 5 circumstances.
yeah, but not routinely geographically not available, for example.
Well, I guess it would have to go in your minutes.
Of course.
The person would have to notify, possibly prior to a meeting, notify the chair or the person chairing the meeting, their desire to do so and the reason and facts supporting this. It needs to be recorded in the meeting minutes. You have to do a roll call vote. Any member participating remotely may participate in executive session, but shall state at the start of any such session that no other person is present and able to hear the discussion. And the person chairing the meeting needs to distribute in advance of the meeting copies of any documents or exhibits that they think would possibly be used during the meeting. I think that kind of covers the whole.
So the motive for bringing this up so early in the EDC process is one of the members is going to have, as you may know, hip surgery. So I want to make sure that if he's up to it, he can participate. That's the motive for doing it so early in this process, as opposed to waiting till some time passes. So, and obviously Nadine's a pretty busy lady, so I can envision her being unavailable, though she will be available for the coming meeting. So I want that. I'd like the board to permit it so that we have the option to have more members, not less.
I don't mind voting for this as long as it's not, I'm busy and I want to go home kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, our board will talk about that as well. I think if it's abused, it'll be stopped, but I don't think that's anybody's motive. But the primary motive is one of the members is having surgery, so I want him to have the option to partake. That's the immediate motive.
Since this takes a vote of the chief executive body, I thought maybe that you could implement a policy that if it's ever used, that there's a report back to the selectmen about when and why it was used, if you were concerned about abuse. Not in the EDC's instance, but I'm just saying in general. There is no one centrally checking on any of that. You know what I mean?
yeah. I don't know that I want to make,
That kind of oversight.
groups send us information when they.
No, I mean, we can always rescind this if it proves to be something that undercuts actual participation, because that's the only objection I have to it, is that it would, I think it's
Defeats the purpose.
ideal that people should be face-to-face discussing this. But I'm certainly willing to adopt it and see what happens.
I am too.
Okay, well,
Give it a try.
do I hear a motion to adopt Attorney General Regulation 940 CMR 2910, which permits remote participation in certain circumstances? Is that correct?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. There you
Thank you
go.
very much. Grateful
Thank
for
you.
your indulgence. And
Happy Thanksgiving.
thank you. Same to you. Question, administrative question. Why is when I enter the agenda?
Okay, so we have a ZBA budget request This year it was $600, and next year they want $600.
Move to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Return in there. James Wheeler. He's really techie. He's a good person to talk to about that. Yep. That was ZBA?
Yep.
Yep. And approved.
Thanks very much. Have a
Thank
good
you,
night.
have a good
Me
one.
too.
We have a budget request form for the town report. This year, it was $3,200, dollars. Next year, they're requesting $3,600, an increase of $400. I guess printing and postage have gone up, and they spent $3,543, the actual
Move
this
to
year.
approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have a resignation of ZBA associate Mark Adams. And Mary requests to put up a
Vacancy.
Yep.
vacancy on the
Yep.
town
Move
website.
Move to accept the resignation and to issue a letter of thanks for service and to post the vacancy on the website.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Maya, our town insurer, they want to offer us a renewal proposal for fiscal year 2018 and fiscal year 2019, which includes a rate change of 0% for fiscal 2018 and a rate increase of no more than 2.5% for fiscal 19. They're offering this on both our property and liability and worker comp coverages. Your overall contributions may reflect changes in exposures, such as increase in building values, changes in number of vehicles, expenditures, increase in payroll, changes in experience modification. It's being made to a limited number of Maya members and is contingent on maintaining a favorable loss ratio for all lines of coverage below 60%. So it's a 2-year proposal.
Yep. And 0 the first year, which is hard to beat.
Yeah.
Doesn't include the health insurance though, huh?
No.
No.
So this is property and liability, basically, correct?
And workers'
Property,
comp.
liability, and workers' comp.
Workers' comp. Okay, and then it is a not to exceed 2.5%, so that therefore
It could be less.
but
Yeah.
I mean, that seems very reasonable to me.
Seems reasonable to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to accept this?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No, yeah, but just before,
Oh,
Um, when we, did the settlement of that case last year, they had indicated that they felt that we had acted appropriately in those circumstances and it didn't present any kind of systemic risk to the town. And this is demonstrated, it's now the second year since then that we've gotten, this year was a very modest increase and this is a 0% increase. So I just think it demonstrates that.
okay.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye. It has to be by the 22nd.
Yeah, I can scan and send it tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you can also do it tomorrow morning.
Okay. Board of Fire Engineers. Nope, the fire chief is,
That was a blast from the past.
has an updated fee schedule for permits, and we need to approve it.
And do we have the old one so we see what the changes are?
No.
not up on their website, I noticed.
So they're gonna require a $20 fee for brush burning?
Oh, yeah, that's not gonna work.
No, I don't think so.
Brush burning permit for $20? No.
It's
And-
zero right now, right?
Yeah.
And you know what I'd suggest is putting a fee, a higher fee on someone who doesn't call in to get a permit, though.
Brush burning non-permit.
Yes. To discourage them from burning without a permit. I don't know if there is a fee for that now. Doesn't look like it here, but
Fireworks display.
I like cannon fire.
You never know when your cannon's gonna catch on fire.
No, I mean, yeah.
I do not have one.
Okay.
All right, well, why don't we,
I need to see what we have
yeah.
in place
let's-
before I vote
Let's
on
get
this.
the current ones from him and put this on next week.
Okay.
Yep. But my neighbor and I have to start to pay $25 for our annual Battle of Waterloo reenactment in the backfield.
No, we're not doing that.
All right.
Town council requests, town clerk and the ZBA regarding the ZBA filing deadline. I don't have any problem with that going to town council.
Nope.
I agree.
They both are asking about the same issue. Do you want them to separately check with town council with the same attorney so they get the same message, or should they have a conference call with town
They
council?
should have a conference call.
Yeah.
Or just have one call and relay the message.
Well, one's
And
from
do it
the,
together.
a conference call.
Yeah.
Right. Or if they get written advice.
Okay.
We're authorizing that they can go
Access.
to council. They can work out how they coordinate themselves.
Okay, we have,
General contract,
yes.
do we have that contract now?
No, so there is, the town is supposed to generate that. Says Austin Design.
Well, then we should go ship it. We do have a contract that he sent, but it's not filled in. And it's a standard architectural,
Okay. Yeah, I think,
Ship it
yeah, we
off to
should
council.
ship it off to council, and we should have a call, because we have to, we had a 60-day extension, so we do have to sign that.
quickly, by the
Rather
9th
quickly.
of December, right?
I think that's correct, yeah.
Okay.
So you have next week's meeting.
So, yeah, if you can send that to council and tell them to
Prepare something, and
prepare
if,
something.
if they have questions, you want them to call me initially, or,
Sure.
you okay?
Okay.
All right.
So email me, and,
You both you enjoy.
yeah.
Okay, so Solomon Pond Mall wants the town to generate a bill. They want us to sign a letter agreement and approve a sample invoice for conservation mitigation payments. How many more mitigation payments do we have?
Since 1998, it's 30 years, right?
Yeah,
So 2018? No, 2028.
2028.
Did you read this? Because I looked at it and,
I didn't have a chance to read it.
Read the,
Letter agreement.
I don't think I got
Now,
it.
but I didn't have a chance.
well, you can read it.
I just think the last paragraph insinuates that if we didn't generate the piece of paper, that they wouldn't owe it. I thought that should be like, watered down. a
Oh,
little bit.
this letter.
Yeah.
You meant a sample.
June's trying
They
to
want it
reconcile.
signed for the town by the Board of Selectmen, as this is a development agreement, not a tax, obligating the town to invoice them by November 1st annually before they must pay within 30 days. And they're willing to, they normally pay this in February, but they're willing to pay it in November, is that correct?
I think the key here is that they probably want to be sure that they have one bill for each of their fiscal years, which will be a calendar fiscal year.
Did you ask June, or first we need to decide who's going to send this and how they're going to...
June has agreed to generate it.
To generate it?
Yeah, she can do it in
Okay.
QuickBooks. That's not a big deal. It's more the letter.
I would just simply say, failure to timely present the invoice will not affect the contractual obligation to pay, So, say, this is an administrative agreement, and failure to timely present the invoice will not affect
The obligation?
the obligation to pay, okay? Just that one line at the end.
Add that at the end.
Yeah, and then, I'm not sure I see the ambiguity there, but let's put that in there anyway.
So if you want to do that, I can stop
Yep.
in tomorrow, or... Yeah, I can stop in tomorrow and sign it. If I remember.
Okay.
I could probably whip that up tonight if you want.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Personnel Committee, marijuana use possession policy.
Where did that request come from?
Me.
Okay. I think it's too early to consider that.
Well, starting on the 15th is when it's legal.
I understand. I'd like to find out what other
Towns are doing.
towns are doing and so on. I'm not ready to make it up out of whole cloth. Maybe,
Do you want to look at this? She's got personnel. Did you get policies? Where did you get the one here that you gave us?
The red line?
Yeah.
That's our personnel policy. So right now, we do not permit alcohol and illegal drugs. So since the marijuana would be a legal drug, I would think you would just amend it in the short term to say alcohol, marijuana, and illegal drugs while on the job.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Possession and use.
So all you did was add marijuana by
That's-
alcohol.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's fine.
That's fine.
That seems like the very least we could do at this point.
Well, then we could do that tonight.
Yeah, we can do that if we just want to say use of alcohol or marijuana.
So that's the personnel policy and the personnel guide.
Okay?
Mhm.
I don't have the originals of those, I don't think, to change those on the website, so I don't know how we would do that, but
We can look in the cabinet.
Yeah, no, I
There
think...
was a CD.
I think that's fine. Obviously, and that's what I thought we were going to end up trying to deal with right now is,
One of the big issues that's been in the paper is these towns that are all passing regulations to prohibit having stores that sell marijuana in their town.
that's different to bylaw.
Yeah, they're doing bylaws for
Yeah.
that. But this, I think, is the minimum, right?
yeah, no, I think that's fine. I would move to add or marijuana after alcohol to section 9.2 of the standards of conduct, and to section 10, discipline. And chapter 28,
That's actually,
what is that?
it's section 28, and it's regarding using part-time,
Seasonal
per diem
employees.
plowers, basically.
Okay.
Same, it would just insert the same language there.
Yeah, so insert the same language there. And it's, is it chapter 29 or section 29.4?
29.4. Well, I may be mixing section and chapter. It would be section.
Okay. And to add marijuana after alcohol
Is that
where
whole section called alcohol? No, it's
drugs and
miscellaneous.
alcohol, which we don't have to change the title of.
Theoretically,
No, no.
alcohol is a drug.
But to add a comma marijuana after the word alcohol wherever it appears. Okay. So that's the bylaw, right?
That's the personal policy.
That's the personnel policy, and then the personnel guide. Should we say, and to make conforming changes to the personnel guide? Okay,
Yep.
Yep.
all right.
All in favor? I mean, do I hear a second on that?
Second?
Any other discussion?
Yeah, I mean, at first I thought we were going to get into, I mean, obviously there are lots of issues with respect to the inconsistencies between federal and local law and so on, but I think that's a simple enough change that we can do that. Okay?
That's yours, that's yours. It says Tom. This is yours too, Tom.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're gonna go on to the building inspector. Thomas?
All right.
Building inspector, I think we also had a job description from
The chief,
the fire chief.
are they not all in there?
I don't know. Building inspector Larry, up, and Chief Zieg. So this one's from the town of Westminster. Do people want to look this over and then come back with any comments?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we can see if there's anything we want to merge in or take out.
Yeah.
Next week, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, next week.
Let's see, shared employee discussion regarding sharing benefits, overtime, and tracking.
Oh, yes, we're gonna find out what some other towns did.
I think that this one that you have here, this section 20, is, it doesn't really apply. It has to do with elected officials, doesn't it? When I read this, I thought financial interests holding one or more elected positions.
I didn't, I mean, I copied and pasted it there because so many different towns responded that they didn't share employees for this reason of the conflict of interest law, but I didn't,
Well, we went
I
through
didn't
some of
pull up
this
that.
when Walter
Mm-hmm.
was
special
on,
employee,
yeah, on
and
more
Denny
than,
Bartlett, and, yeah.
yes, it was Denny, yep.
So they signed, they had like disclosure forms or something that they signed that they had.
Right, that was again in somebody who had supervisory
Mhm, right.
positions and so on, so that,
I don't think either Stephen or Leanne have supervisory.
No. Well, Leanne's position could have a secretary under her, it doesn't at the moment.
no,
Yeah.
where one is in a position where one is supervising one's own work.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's not how the respondents answered on the survey.
I know, that, I thought that was kind of interesting, the way they responded.
Yes, I'm not really sure what they were getting at, because several of them did it, so.
Yeah, several did it and several did not.
Yeah,
Unless they misunderstood the question being asked, I don't know.
maybe. Well, some of these bigger towns,
Yeah, I really don't see section 20 applying.
because when they're saying they pay 1.5 for overtime over 40 hours, I mean, some of that is the fair, well, not fair, fair labor law. Overtime at a blended rate. I think we gave somebody special municipal employee status because they were a member of the fire department and they were also doing construction work for the town.
If there's only, is there only 2 employees that we're really talking about here? That have
More than one
more than one
position.
position?
Oh, there's multiple people who have more than one position. This is just a situation where both of them are going to be tipping benefits in this case, and potentially overtime on one of them anyhow. Possibly the second, depending on how many hours are requested this year.
Do we need to, maybe we just need to look at it on an individual basis and
Well, if you set a
approve?
precedent in one direction, you're probably setting it in general.
True. But it's still, if you leave it to approving it on an individual basis, it doesn't, I don't know if it sets a precedent or not, because you're asking that each one come before the board.
June's really asking for clarification on how to account for splitting up the benefits between, if you do it on a pro rata basis, on one department tips them into overtime, should that cost be shared amongst all the departments, even if the other department wasn't the one that did that? They stuck within their allotted expected amount for that week,
Yeah, that's the LIFO, basically, that's the LIFO versus pro rata
Yeah,
section, so we were saying that I think, there are 2 really rational ways to do it. One is that the last one in, also the
Yeah.
LIFO, is the one who bears the cost, because they're the ones who
Right.
cause you to go over, and the other would be to prorate. I mean, I don't see any other rational ways to do it.
I think that that in Leanne's instance, that job is pretty parameterized. I think the problem comes in
yeah, it's
the other one where you need snow shoveling, or somebody gets sick and they need to be called in, and
Well, actually, last year, that was supposed to come out of the library's budget, but they didn't take it out of the library's budget. It was supposed to just become a municipal building, so it would have been Keith anyhow.
I'd have to say that it would seem to me that even in that instance, Judy, that the LIFO approach is, in other words, if you have the need and you hired the person to do the snow shoveling and that's what tips you over, then
You have to pay
You have
the
to pay it.
overtime. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too.
kind of feel like this person should be put on highway and they should.
right. And that's something we can talk about.
I mean, this is probably the issue of not having anybody centralized here who can,
Well, do you want to talk?
He's the only municipal building employee at this time, because it's otherwise been outsourced.
And does he work for a transfer station as well?
Yes.
Yes.
So he works for different elected, he works for library, works for.
I mean, we've talked a
highway.
number of times about whether even the transfer station should be brought in under sort of a public works department, and we wouldn't have this problem.
The only other thing is election worker, which is under Eloise, but that's not that big of a deal.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
also the revolving account for the 1870, so anytime there's an event, he's given a $25, but also his benefit, the withholdings come out of the 1870 revolving anytime he's cleaning up after an event. It's usually a $25 flat fee, so he's coming out of several different pots. But that hour, which had never really mattered before, let's say, now matters. It's going to count towards the total.
Which makes it, even more,
That's kind of,
to have it be in a public works department.
yeah, yeah.
And then if you have it paid out of the public works department and if one did an end of the year transfer from the revolving account to the, labor account in the highway department to cover those things, I think you could make it all come out square that way, but,
Well, I mean, you could, for the FY18, you could take that money out of their budgets and put it into the public works. Well, in any case, I don't think Section 20 really applies
I
to
don't think it
this.
does either.
This is all about holding a position of selectman or elected official in town.
I guess my inclination is to suggest, as an initial approach, that the last in, sort of first out approach. But I also think that perhaps during this budget cycle, we ought to think about further amalgamation of, the sort of highway public buildings, and we ought to talk to the Board of Health as well.
Board of Health and the highway,
Yeah,
yeah.
but for the time being, if we need a rule, it would seem to me last in, first out is the most expeditious way to go.
Well, so, none of this is planned in anyone's budget
No.
when
Nope.
it comes to vacation and what else comes out of budgets?
Benefits.
Well,
no,
health
no,
insurance
benefits
comes
are
out of a
separate.
different group
Vacation
altogether.
and,
Sick
not
times.
Well, sick is a sick pay account.
Yeah, so it's really vacation and overtime?
Yep,
Those would be the,
yep.
Well, there are some here that say no overtime
And again,
paid.
if
Well-
if we were, I would point out, to amalgamate those things, we would virtually eliminate
any overtime.
this instance, yes.
Yes,
Or at least the instance of it happening across departments.
Right.
yeah, right.
But not for Leanne. If that ever happened in the
But not for
future.
Leanne. Mhm.
And you know that June in the interim is doing it on a pro rata basis until she hears otherwise, because she had to do something for the past two
And that's fine.
payrolls.
That's fine.
So do we want to continue with pro rata, or do we want to go to LIFO?
Let's leave it at pro rata.
Okay, we'll leave it at pro rata. Okay?
I wonder if it'd be beneficial to check with overtime paid by department where work exceeds 40 hours. Check with these towns to see if you can get any more information.
Well, if they're saying that overtime is paid by the department
It's the orange towns,
that causes it to exceed, okay?
the
That's-
40th plus
Yeah,
hour.
that's the LIFO, basically, approach. And I presume the yellow, calculate OT at blended rate, is the pro rata, I think. I mean, I
What color,
can't,
what color was that?
Yellow?
Yellow.
I mean, I can't imagine what calculate OT at a blended rate means other than to prorate it between the two
Sharing.
departments.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, he's actually got three. He's got the library, he's got the 1870, and he's got the transfer station.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the library,
Library, 1870, and
election
transfer.
worker.
And election worker.
There's
Although-
I think there's 5 different entities. Oh, an 1870 revolving account work when there are functions there. That's just,
I would X out the election thing, because that's
Yeah, I'm not worried
Nominal.
about that.
That's nominal, and it's, but
I'm just saying.
what's the fourth one then? Library, 1870,
I don't have it listed in
transfer
front of me. I think I listed
station.
it in front of you, but library, 1870, town hall revolving, transfer station board, which is Board of Health, municipal building. Because he otherwise maintains under municipal building the 1870 and the library. But
What
the
does he do here at the municipal building?
Nope, at the 1870 town hall and the library, he does custodial services, does not do them here.
Okay, so it's really three.
Nope, there's 5.
Okay, there's the 1870, you have written here, the 1870 town hall.
Revolving account.
Well, let's just forget where the money's coming from.
Okay.
He shovels snow and cleans up at the 1870. He works at the library doing snow.
He's otherwise the custodian under the municipal budget.
So he's
But
the
the trustees insisted on budgeting several years ago their own pot of money for snow shoveling, and he's the one that does it.
Okay, so he does snow shoveling, but he doesn't do,
And he also does custodial work,
Custodial
but under the municipal building.
Yeah, okay. He's paid by, under the municipal building line item,
Yes.
okay, for custodial work at the library,
Yep,
right? For custodial work at the 1870 Town Hall.
Correct.
Right? Okay. In addition to what he's paid out of that line item,
Mhm.
he's paid by the library for snow removal,
Correct.
correct? And he's paid on an
Board of
occasional
Health.
basis by the 1870 Town Hall
for events.
to clean up after events. That's not out of the general custodial line
Okay.
item.
Right.
And then he is paid by the Board of Health. So the way I read that, there are four.
And the town clerk, no, we're not counting it, but I'm just saying, it's a separate.
We're forgetting that one, okay?
Then it is the Board of Health is the fourth one.
Okay, so the
Yeah,
two,
yeah.
okay, so it's basically four line items.
well, you know, it seems to me, if he's doing custodial work at the library in the 1870 Town Hall,
We have to roll.
we need to
this-
look at the rates there, and that should all just be rolled into one under the Muni building.
I couldn't
That was
agree with
supposed
you
to have
more.
happened last year. The library went ahead and put 6,000 back in again.
Okay, well, we need to talk to the
Yeah.
library.
And also, the only one that doesn't have a line item is the 1870 Town Hall, it's a revolving account. So the library, the Board of Health, and the municipal building all have line items.
Yeah.
But yeah,
My feeling on the sort of occasional cleanup after that is that that should also be paid out of the municipal building, and then on an annual basis, they can calculate, because we want that to be self-supporting, in that sense, that, on an annual basis, we could move money out of the revolving account, into the highway, wage account to cover that.
Well, first we have to. Yeah, yep,
Yeah, that's not combining, departments or anything
Right,
like
right,
that. That's
right.
just, so I think we can get this down to two pretty easily, and it could only be brought down to one if, we agreed with the Board of Health about
that's
that.
the longer term. Do you want the library to be asked to allow Keith to be budgeting that?
I think that Keith should budget that out of Muni, yeah. My own feeling is that's,
no, I
He
agree.
shovels snow at the 1870 Town Hall under municipal buildings.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I got that, yep.
And the library needs to throw both the custodial work and the winter snow shoveling can go over into Muni.
Right.
Okay.
So that'll get it down to one account for that, and then the transfer station.
Right.
Except there's that event schedule thing that's a flat fee, apparently.
What?
They pay him $25, right, to clean up
Right.
after an event?
Plus, it's 25 to him, plus the withholdings, or a separate deduction out of there.
We can figure that out.
Okay.
It's not the cost, it's the hours, you know what I'm saying?
My point is, that will all go away. What we have to figure out then is an amount that would be transferred per event from the revolving fund into the wage account for highway public buildings. And that's how that would change.
Do you want that immediately, or?
That would be nice.
Um,
I think we need to talk to Keith.
yeah, yeah.
I think we being
I think we
Chris.
need to suggest that. We certainly need to do that in the next budget cycle. I don't know how that screws things up at this point.
No.
Should we have him come in?
Yeah,
Why don't we just have him come in?
Okay.
As he might be building it, or he's probably holding his budget because of the evaluations were held, but do you want him to come in at the next meeting, or not?
What do we have so far in the next meeting?
Not much. No appointments, in fact.
yeah, let's have them in. Right?
Yep.
Sounds good. Do we need anybody else to come in?
Do you want
About this?
library
Well, and ask
invited?
somebody from the Library Board of Trustees to come in.
Okay,
And invite 1870 Town Hall if they want to come
Yep.
as well.
okay,
We'll have a party.
I'll have a party.
got it.
Turkey sandwiches next Monday night.
I'm sure that's what we'll all want.
Is it Monday? We're
It is
meeting
Monday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we have some more evaluations we need to do. So I think we need another Saturday. I hate to say this because remember we didn't have any evaluations and we need to do the accountant. We did.
Yeah, the next Saturday.
No,
that-
you didn't do the accountant, you did her clerk.
Okay, we need to do the accountant. We need to do
Highway, fire, police.
everybody who reports to us except Mary.
The next, I have to say that the next Sunday that I could do would be the 10th. Because I'm going to be either out of town or having guests this Saturday.
Or we could do it another night.
And then I'm out of town the 3rd.
I only live day to day, so I have to look at my calendar.
I left my phone home again. Well, I don't have a calendar with me, so.
I mean, the 10th is good for me too, as long as it's good for Judy.
Oh, well, would it be better to try to do a night? You have the more complicated schedule, I would say, than Chris and I.
Yeah.
I mean, I could even conceivably meet during the day at some point.
When are we supposed to have these all in?
October
November
1st.
1st?
Or a little late?
Oh, can I do this? Can I look at my schedule for next week and maybe suggest we could do something in,
During the
like
day?
a late morning or afternoon?
Sure.
Okay.
Okey-doke.
And I had not gotten to the capital plan last week.
Ooh, next week might be a little tough for me.
Well, do you want to default to the 10th and then Thomas can look
Yeah.
at his schedule?
Yeah, we could leave it at the
Unless you
10th.
want to do it towards the end of next week.
I might be able to do it on Friday, but let me check, okay?
This Friday?
No, a week from Friday.
Okay.
That might work.
I hope that picked it up.
Probably did.
Okay.
Great.
Review of step merit performance evaluations.
That was
That's
it.
what we just talked about.
All right,
So you're talking about December 2nd possibly?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have not done that last week. My big writing project was doing that synopsis for the special town meeting, so.
Oh,
Okay.
Um,
1 week or longer? Or?
I may be able to get to it
Alright,
actually this
put it back
weekend
on.
because I have some extra days off, you know, so
Well, we have fiscal pay rates. All right, so 16, we've already done 17, and 18 is Assumption College Student Volunteer Spring Break.
I can ask any departments if they're interested in it.
what exactly is
They
this?
want to do community service with some of the kids who don't go off to
Oh.
Fort Lauderdale. So they're offering them during a week in, is it May? I don't even know what spring break is. I never do that, so. it's not
Spring Break
March.
2017.
I thought they were looking for selectmen to go down to
Oh.
spring break with
Oh.
Assumption College students.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, I was packed.
Yeah.
I was ready to go.
What are you, Donald Trump? March 6th through the 12th.
Just
Yeah,
because
put
it
it
went
out
to
there.
you, okay.
Yeah. I mean, we are sort of finalizing annual meeting stuff by that time. So, I mean, maybe some of the time could be spent with that.
Yeah.
think about that.
Like stickering the annual town report books or any of that stuff, or?
Yeah, or, helping to compile final stuff or do editing, I mean, it's just a thought that that's something that happens at that time of year.
Yep.
FinCom is also putting together last budgets if they needed, but those, both of those projects could be sort of meaningful for
Yeah.
a college student instead of, making copies for somebody or something. So you may want to ask that about those.
Okay.
Mary, can have someone come in here and go through all these file boxes.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun, huh? When they could be in Fort Lauderdale.
All right.
Okay, is there anything else to come before the board?
That's the wall. We built a wall.
Nothing from my point. Yeah, we're sending them down to South Texas.
Border.
It's our
All right.
contribution to the wall. To what?
To adjourn?
Contribute them to the wall?
To adjourn.
Oh, to adjourn. All right.